Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel, and hello if you're new here. Just to get it out of the way, yes, I did cut my hair. It's really short. I actually hadn't cut it since I found out I was pregnant, so it's been a long time, but I think it's pretty healthy now. Anyways, today I wanted to talk about some of the different swaddles that I've bought and list them in order of the one I liked the least up to what I like using the most. So this is something that I didn't expect to get so many of, because I didn't realize that there were so many different kinds and different styles and stuff like that. So I thought that I would make this review because I did get a bunch of different kinds, just trying to make things easier on myself and my husband and my baby. Something that's really important to me when it comes to the swaddle is how easy it is to put the baby in after he or she has fallen asleep, because they can fall asleep at any time, and the last thing you want is to go to put them in their crib or their bassinet and they wake up. Either one, you can't swaddle them so they startle themselves awake, or two, you try and put them in a swaddle and it wakes them up. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the regular swaddle blanket. The ones that I have are the muslin blankets. So some pros to the swaddle blanket: I think it's pretty good for like a newborn when you kind of have them swaddled like pretty often, and they stay in it for a while. It's pretty easy to swaddle them. Also, there's something called a super swaddle, which really keeps them nice and snug, and I'll put a link in the description of the video on how to do that. They're also really affordable. I think you can get 3 of them for like $19.99 at Target, which is pretty good. And they can wear as little or as much clothing underneath if it's cooler out, to have less clothing, and if it's hotter, to bundle them up a little bit more. Some of the cons to this: I feel like it's riskier for older newborns because they can break out of it and get the swaddle over their face. And even though it's super lightweight, that's still something that you don't want to risk. If you do the swaddle properly, the chances of that happening are pretty slim, but you just really have to make sure that you're doing it correctly. And another con is if you're holding your sleeping baby, putting them in it, it can be a little bit difficult, especially if you don't have it like properly laid out like it's supposed to be already, and you have to try and maneuver it. It doesn't work. So for those 2 reasons, I would put this at the bottom of my list, because obviously, like I said, those are the most important things to me, is safety and ability to put a sleeping baby in one. Also, if you need to change a diaper in the middle of the night, or you have to do a night feeding and you want to take them out of the swaddle if they don't like to be swaddled while they're eating, you have to redo the whole thing over again. And here's a clip of my little assistant being swaddled in a muslin blanket. The next thing I'm going to talk about is the Swaddle Me Original Swaddle. This is what it looks like. It has this little pouch here. Some of the pros to this swaddle is that they come in super cute patterns. When it's on the baby, I think it looks super cute. They're pretty affordable. You can get 3 of them for $29.99 at Target. And I think they can wear a couple layers under this, like maybe a regular short sleeve onesie and PJs, probably just PJs or the short sleeve onesie, because it is pretty tight and it is a little bit on the thicker side. And again, you don't want the baby to be overheating. Another thing that's cool is that it has this like harness slit in the back of it so that you can strap them into like a rock and play or the Mamaroo. And when I'm showing the clip at the end of this, I'll show how it looks when he's inside the Mamaroo, which it just looks like he's wearing the swaddle. But yeah, so some of the cons to this one, you're probably wondering why this one's so low on the list. There's kind of a bunch of things. So they say that they make this bottom part for easy diaper changes, but like this part, and you'll see when I demonstrate it, this part right here velcros inside of this. So having to like unvelcro inside of that while they're swaddled up and then take their legs out, like I just don't think that it's very convenient at all. I think there's some of them that have a zipper at the bottom of here, which would make much more sense to me and would probably put this higher on my list if that was the case with this one. Another thing is that the Velcro is super loud. Like, when they say that it's easy diaper changes, also having loud Velcro I don't think is really good, especially like in the middle of the night when you're trying to keep things really calm and quiet so you don't like wake your baby up too much to where it's too hard to get them back down to sleep. I forgot to add this on the pros list, but it does have like a pretty wide opening right here, so I think it's a pretty safe swaddle. I wouldn't worry about anything like going above his face. But I did find that once I swaddled him back up and I was kind of burping him before I would lay him down, that it would kind of bunch up a little bit. And I think that's just because like the thing is just like so many different weird pieces. The other thing is that it's not easy to put a sleeping baby in. Even if you have it laid out, it's kind of annoying. For that reason, I put it second to last. But I still think that it's a really cute swaddle, really safe swaddle. And if those cons that I mentioned don't matter to you, then I wouldn't not recommend this. They're also super affordable. You can get a 3-pack at Target for $29.99. And again, they're just super cute. They have a whole bunch of different patterns. So the next one I'm going to be talking about is the Halo Sleepsack. This one is pretty popular. I believe most hospitals will give these out when the baby is born, or mine did anyways. Some things I really like about it is the baby can wear it multiple different ways. So you can have them completely strapped down with their arms to the side. You can have one arm out, like if you're trying to transition them out of it. You can have both arms out if you want to treat it more like a wearable blanket, and you can also have them with their arms up like this so that they can self-soothe in the middle of the night if they wake up. I find that the arms up position isn't really like strapped in very well, and they could probably easily get out, but maybe I'm doing it wrong and maybe there's like a better way to do it. Another good thing is that it has a really open neck. The swaddle part goes down pretty far, so you're not worrying about it going up over their face. Also, it has a zipper at the bottom, so it is really easy to change a diaper without taking them out of the sleep sack. You can completely change it without having to remove the Velcro at all. And the baby can pretty much wear as many layers as you want them to underneath, because it is like baggier and allows for a little bit more room. But going with that, one of the cons I find is that it's pretty bulky, and if I am burping him in the middle of the night, I find it does kind of ride up over the shoulders. Never to the point where I necessarily would consider it unsafe, but it does sometimes get like this part right here, and that just bothers me. I don't want to put him down like that. And if I put him down and I'm like tugging and pulling on it, it might wake him up. That's the last thing that I want. It's not super easy to put a sleeping baby in it. You have to like either have this open already and slip them in, zip them up, wrap them up. And if you don't have them in it already, then you're ripping open Velcro when you're unzipping it, putting them in and wrapping them up, and it's just not super easy. I've put him in it before while he was sleeping and it has woken him up, especially putting the arms through the little armholes. That wakes him up mostly when I pull his arm up to put them through. So those are really the only things that I don't like about it. I think it's a pretty good swaddle and I would definitely recommend it. Another pro is that they're pretty affordable, and you can get them at Target for $19.99 for one of them. And here is a clip of Charlie being swaddled in one. next one I'm going to talk about is the Woombie Air Swaddle. I really like this swaddle a lot. Some of the pros to it being that it's super easy to put a sleeping baby in it. All you have to do is have it open, and even if it's not open, it's really easy to open it with just one hand and lay it down. I like to just have it, if I'm going to be using it, ready in his bassinet or in his crib, just open, ready to place him in it and zip it up. It has a zipper coming from the bottom to make a diaper change super easy if you don't want to unswaddle them. And then there's also a zipper at the top if you want to pull it down that way. It's super lightweight and stretchy, so it's really good for like warmer climates. And it also has this mesh part at the top, so for people that are super anxious about material going over their face, this is something that I would definitely recommend. It keeps them super snug, so if your baby just likes to be like super wrapped up, this would definitely be for them. But that is actually one of the cons for me, because Charlie doesn't really like this one very much. I think he finds it too confining. I think he just felt too constricted. You can't really wear more than one layer under here, otherwise you're gonna have like a bunch of fabric bunched up at the top, and it's just gonna be too bulky to close. It's hard enough to close him in it when he's just wearing one layer. So you can't really put like a flannel or anything under it if you keep the room a little bit colder. They're a little bit pricey, about $24.99 for just one of them at Target. And you can't really swaddle their arms down to their side because of the way that it's shaped, and it has to be like kind of like up here or up over their belly. And now that I think about it, that might have been what he didn't like about it, was that his arms had to be like this instead of to his side. Another cool thing about this swaddle, well, not this one specifically, but the Woombies, you can get one that they just keep unzipping on the sides and get bigger and bigger, and unzipping at the bottom and getting bigger. This one doesn't do that, and I'm not totally sure how much the other one costs. It's got to be more expensive, but I think that's pretty cool. The next one I'm going to talk about is the Love to Dream Original Swaddle. I just love this swaddle. It's totally perfect for babies that like a little bit more freedom, a little bit more wiggle room, but still has like the tightness in the center. And babies that like to sleep with their arms up, which most babies, or a lot of babies, do like to sleep like that. It's really great for self-soothing because they can kind of put their arm to their hand to their mouth. They look super cute in it. What I do with this is if he goes down for a nap in his crib or his bassinet, which is kind of hard to do, usually he'll nap on somebody or in his mamaroo, but if I do get him down that way, I will put him in this instead of swaddling him instead of like swaddling him with his arms down, because I want him to associate that with longer sleep at night. So I find that this is like a good way to kind of differentiate between nighttime and daytime. This one also has the zipper at the bottom for super easy diaper changes, and the zipper at the top if you want to take it off that way. This is also super, super easy to get a sleeping baby into. Just like with the Woombie, I just have it laid open, or I can open it with one hand, slip him in it and zip him up. It doesn't wake him up or anything like that. And if it does, he probably wasn't very sleepy anyways. I think it's nice and snug, but not too snug. So if you have like a wiggle worm or just a baby that doesn't like to be super confined, I think this is a really good option. And you can also get one of them that unzips on the arms for when you're transitioning your baby to be out of the swaddle. You can just take one arm off, or you can take both arms off. That sounds weird. You can unzip one side or unzip both sides when you're transitioning them out. This one is also super lightweight, so it's great for warmer climates. It's very soft and super stretchy, which is awesome. Basically, I would just super recommend that you get this. Even if you don't know what type of baby you have just yet, I would definitely just go ahead and purchase one of these, which on the cons list, it is kind of expensive. It's $29.99 just for one of them, and I got this one at Target, but I'm telling you, it is definitely worth it. The Startle Reflex isn't as muffled with this because, again, their arms are up and kind of have a little bit more freedom, and you can't really put too many layers on under this because just like the Woombie, this top part is pretty tight around the neck, so you don't want a bunch of fabric bunching up there. So the last thing that I'm going to talk about, I just recently started doing this, and it is by far my favorite option. I kind of just thought of it, and I don't know, maybe other people are doing it too, but it just made so much sense to me. And like, as far as ease of putting a sleeping baby in, like, it was just perfect. So what I've been doing is combining the Anna and Eve Swaddle strap with a regular micro fleece sleeping bag, sleepsack, whatever you want to call it. What I've been doing is just having this open in his crib or his bassinet, and just putting him in this before he even falls asleep, because he can pretty much just stay in this all night. It's not a big deal. He can eat in this and have his arms out, and I don't have to worry about, like, with the Sleepsack, if you want them to have their arms out, you have to wrap their tummy. Like, you don't have to worry about any of that. I usually put him in this around 8 because he usually falls asleep for the night between 8 and 10. And if I just have him in it already, then I don't have to worry about it. And as far as the layers underneath, I've been putting him in just a short sleeve onesie and PJs, and then this, because I keep it like between 64 and 66 in his nursery, which I sleep in with him, by the way. The neck isn't like super confining, but I don't think you could put like multiple long sleeves underneath, or it just wouldn't be really comfortable, which I don't think you would do anyways. But this thing is just super soft, and he loves just being in it throughout the night anyways. Some of the cons is that the Velcro on this is so loud. So you definitely have to have this placed out if you're putting a sleeping baby in it. Otherwise, you will definitely wake that baby up. And I'll show you in the example footage of how I lay it out, because you don't want any of the Velcro touching because it's super loud. Like, are you kidding me? And then it has another one in the middle. And then another one here. Yeah, that's pretty awful. But I'm willing to take that risk, I guess you'd call it, because he has never slept better than when I started doing this. As far as safety goes, it has these little pillow things that go under their armpit, so it's impossible for it to go over their face, which I really like. So when it comes to safety and ease of putting a sleeping baby in it, I give it a 10 out of 10, as long as you don't rip the Velcro. Another con is that I wish I would have gotten a bigger size. I figured a 2-month-old would just fit in the small. They do the size by like the circumference of their belly instead of like their weight and their height. So just make sure to measure your baby before you purchase one of these, so you know you're getting the right size, because this one is a little bit too small for him, and you'll see it in the next clip. I think eventually here pretty soon I'm gonna get the bigger one. The only other thing is that it is kind of expensive also. It's $29.99 for one, and I got this at Bye Bye Baby, but would totally 100% recommend you trying this because it has just been a total game changer. Alright, well that's it. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope it makes purchasing your Swaddle a little bit easier. Don't forget to like this video if you like it, and subscribe if you want to see more videos in the future, and I hope you have a great day. Bye!